In this episode, we chat with the founder of Spiritual Boss Babes, Stephanie Bellinger. Spiritual Boss Babes is one of the largest online communities helping women quantum leap into their next level of purpose, impact, and abundance. We dive into her story and her journey to success. Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to ditch the outdated beliefs, release the blocks, and fully embrace your sovereignty so you can confidently expand to allow more love, joy, and aligned success in your life. I am Niajae, your conscious accountability partner, reminding you that abundance is your birthright. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. What are you manifesting in your life today? If you're joining me for the first time, although M&Ms are really yummy candies, it actually stands for Magical Manifestors. And today's guest, I'm super excited to speak to her, Stephanie Bellinger. She is one of the manifestation queens. Stephanie Bellinger is a mindset and transformational coach, and we're going to dive into her story. But before we do, Stephanie, I want to ask you, what does abundance mean to you?
First off, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Abundance to means like living in a powerful state. It's a state of being more than a material thing. It's an energy, it's a frequency. So to me, it means feeling gratitude, feeling like you have more than enough of any resource, whether it's ideas, connections, money, inspiration, motivation. Abundance itself is an energy. And by tapping into that and aligning with it, it also is us. We get to attract more of what it is that we want.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So, you serve spiritual entrepreneurs and boss babes around the world and help them unlock their magic and multidimensional gifts. So, I want to hear your story. What got you into this and where did your journey begin?
Yeah. So I have a lot of points of my story that led me down this path. But ultimately, um, a long time ago, I was in a really abusive relationship when I was a teenager, when I was 14 to 20. And I start with that story a lot because that was where I really had to learn how to step into my power and how to take my power back, I should say. And I really learned a lot about self love, spirituality, connecting with my spirit guides. And I also got into meditation and health and fitness during that time, which helped me lose 60 pounds in 6 months and helped me gain the inner strength and outer strength to leave that toxic relationship and reclaim my life and live life on my own terms. And from that moment, I remember before I left, I just remember declaring, when I get out of this, I'm going to make the rest of my life the best of my life. And I was so connected to my vision and the end result that things shifted really quickly. Like I said, I lost the weight, I left that relationship, and I started to just follow my dreams, whatever my dreams were at the time. It shifted a lot along the way, but I always wanted to do my own thing. I knew I had a powerful purpose here. It evolved as I evolved. At first I was doing makeup and helping women feel confident and beautiful. And because art is a big theme of my purpose, like creativity, art. That's why I really appreciate your hair and your backdrop so much.
Thank you.
Just like the colorful and the artsy stuff. So I was doing makeup for a while in New York City. Living in New York City was a dream of mine. So after I left that relationship, moved to New York City. This was when I was like 20, um, and was following my dreams. I went all in with everything I did, and I learned about myself each chapter. After the makeup stuff faded, I realized I wanted to design. I used to design bras and corsets because I worked in the nightlife industry in New York City, and I would see like the dancers, the go-go dancers at the nightclubs wearing these really cool outfits. And so I was like, I want to make outfits like that for performers or even for people to just go out and make it like a dress. And so I designed bras and corsets, made one for like Lady Gaga and Kim Kardashian. I didn't like make one for them. I made one for them. I don't know if they ever wore it, but I gave it to them and went all in. And through that journey, and then eventually I did personal training because I said to myself, if I don't do something with my art, then I am going to do something with health and fitness because that was my first taste of personal development. And so I didn't really want to become a trainer. I just wanted to help people and inspire them and motivate them. And so eventually I started personal training, and that's when I realized, oh my God, this is a big part of my purpose, is helping other people. Like, I love my art and I still do that in the form of making pendants and whatever. And my business is my art. You know what I mean? My message is my art. The way I am my art. So once I started personal training, I got way deeper into personal development and reading the books and manifestation and like going deeper. I already knew that it was a thing. I just didn't know about all this information that was out there for, until I knew. So I started learning how to grow my business online as well as in person. I was like, I can help more people online by coaching them online through health and fitness. Oh my God. So I eventually went self employed with my personal training business after a year of working at a gym, which was a huge dream of mine living in New York City. It was a huge dream, like to be self-employed with doing my own thing. I couldn't believe that it actually happened. And that was when I realized all of these limiting beliefs and doubts and weird shit was coming up more than ever, because I just made a huge quantum leap from working at a gym, making barely any money at that gym, to making 5-figure months on my own, basically overnight, and training my clients at a posh gym and growing my online thing. So all these doubts started flooding in. And I started going to EMDR therapy, hypnosis. I started doing all these things to try to get my mindset under control and to heal. I realized, oh my God, I never actually did any healing work from that toxic relationship. I think that a lot of that stuff that he used to say or whatever, whatever, is still in my subconscious mind. And I was like, oh shit, like I have some work to do. And that's when I went down this path of even deeper of spirituality. I've always been into spirituality, but I started working with plant medicines and getting into like way deeper into the healing aspect, as well as understanding how to reprogram my subconscious mind. And then eventually that led me to just thinking one day, I want to bring other women. I know there's other women out there who are like me, who are into the out there, new age, whatever people call it, that people used to call it. Now it's way more widely accepted, but in the past it wasn't so much, and still people have a lot of resistance. I knew there was other women. I was like, there's other people out there like me who are into all this stuff, the crystals, the magic, the this, that, who want to live their purpose, who know they have this burning desire, and I'm gonna freaking bring all of them together because I want to have a community. And so I created Spiritual Boss Babe, the very thing that I wanted, my Facebook community. And I just started showing up in there in my group and sharing lessons I've learned along my way, sharing my journey. And it ended up growing to like 30 something thousand women in a very short period of time. Then I started coaching and making programs and enhancing my own skills along the way, and have created a beautiful business that lights me up, that I get to serve people, women from all around the world, from all walks of life, really just step into their power and claim what they want in life and manifest their dreams and grow their business. It's not just about their business. That's like one piece of it. That's like how you create those resources that you want. And I believe that, we're all meant to share our message and gifts. And so I know that was a very long answer.
No, I love it. I love hearing the backstory because I didn't know any of that about you. So I was actually born in New York, so I
Oh,
know
nice.
like making it in New York is hard.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
If
that
you can make it there, you can make it anywhere,
that is
like the
what they say.
song.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm
Yep.
from Jersey, so New York was like an easy move for me when I moved there.
Okay, I lived in
Yeah.
Jersey too. So, yeah, it's so good to hear the backstory. And I want to touch on a couple of things that you said. So, you had to find the strength to leave toxic situations. And I think
Mhm.
that that is something that's really hard for people. So, if someone out there is like, well, I'm kind of in a toxic situation right now, what are some things they can do to work towards finding the strength to be able to walk away?
For me, it was all around self-love, and taking care of my body was the first step. So, and meditating. So, and I did both at the same time. And didn't have I wasn't into fitness. I ate really crappy food. So it was a combination. It was like the holistic approach. I started learning how to eat better gradually and fueling my body with better foods, and started working out every morning. And in the beginning, I really did not want to. Um, But once I saw the results of how I felt and how I looked, I was hooked. And then I started meditating. And the more I did those things, and I think movement is extremely important. Like any kind of movement, doesn't mean you need to, like, go crazy at the gym necessarily, but something that you can enjoy, even if it's dancing, whatever. Movement is so important, like to allow the energy to flow. And meditation, I would meditate for at least 20 minutes a day every morning, and connect with my spirit guides and angels and higher self. And through that process, I started to actually hear my soul voice way
Mm,
clearer. So before, I would hear doubts, I would hear the inner critic, I would hear the toxic person that I was with, I would hear his voice. And when he would say things or do things, I would just submit. And well, I was also scared for my life half the time, but that's another
mm,
story. But I would basically think, it's my fault, blah, blah, blah. But once I started hearing that voice of my soul come in way more clear, it was always there. I just could never hear it before because I didn't meditate and do all these things. Um, I started noticing that I would be talking back to him in my mind, like, how dare you talk to me like that? And then I would hear this voice say, Stephanie, what are you doing here? Like, it's time to go. Like, let's go. And it just seemed way easier to leave. Like, whereas before I didn't think I could, because I thought that, um, I just thought it was impossible. And also, I was also really scared for my life and also for my family, because he would threaten, to do stuff, and I would not put it past him. I literally had to run for my life when I left, like
mm,
literally, literally. So I was scared, but in the moment when I decided and planned it, I literally had to plan it out. It was just a freaking clear decision. It was like, I don't give a fuck. This is my life. I don't care what happens. I'm done. I'm done, and I'm going to be safe, and I'm going to make sure I protect myself, and da 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 da. And just from making that decision, and I had some help from psychics and stuff as well, and energy workers to protect, to manage the energy, to make sure that he wouldn't come after me and all this stuff, because I really believe in that stuff. And when I left, I realized, holy shit, I had the power to do this the whole time. I just didn't realize I did.
mm.
And once I realized I did, I freaking left. I ran for my life out of our apartment because he grabbed a knife, by the way.
Oh
And
my
when I
goodness.
flew out of the apartment, and I ran outside in with no shoes in 30 degrees of weather, left my car keys, I left my cell phone, I left everything in our apartment because we lived together. And I ran outside once I heard the utensil drawer open, and I ran around the corner, and I just knocked on someone's door, and it was unlocked. I opened it right after I knocked, and it was freaking unlocked. Meanwhile, he's out there somewhere, I didn't know. And like the odds of that even happening, of me knocking on the perfect door, it's unlocked, and it was this big biker dude and his gothic wife and their two kids, and I'm like this crazy chick crying. They ended up taking me safely to meet my parents. Meanwhile, Psycho was in the parking lot revving my car engine, saying, "You're gonna die," like all this crazy shit. And
Mm,
he never bothered me again after that,
mm.
ever. In fact, a year later, he actually wrote an apology letter online
Oh.
and sent it to me. So, like, I don't even know how I got into that story, but I think it was the decision of, I'm done. I'm done. And raising my standards and planning things accordingly to make sure that I was safe and how I felt safe. Like, I did it by telling my parents, I'm going to leave soon. Like, this is the night I'm going to do it. The packing things, getting protection from energy workers, the psychic that I was working with, and just deciding, I'm freaking done. This is my life, and I'm taking my power back.
Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, I know that's not an easy story to share, and I think that there's so many women that will really resonate with that, and hopefully it helps them find the strength in them to walk away from toxic situations. And
Hmm.
I really do believe it is about choosing to just step into your power and know what you're worth. It's all about that self-worth.
Yeah.
You deserve better.
Yeah, and by working on my health and fitness and meditating and doing those things for myself, I that it helps me build the self-worth to
Mm-hmm.
say, wait, I already knew that. I just felt stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, when you decide, you decide. Like, nothing's stopping you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I love that you call it your soul voice because I usually say inner voice, but I love soul voice. That's really cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about spirit guides really quick. There's one other thing that like once you left and you started having all of the limiting beliefs creep up, I think it sounds like to me you kind of reached your growth edge, but I think that that's a good thing because if you're not pushing yourself to where you get a little scared, then you're not really pushing yourself to your full potential. So can you speak to that a little bit?
About when the doubts were coming in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like on a roll with like everything that I was doing. I paid attention to what I did to manifest that experience because before I was self-employed, like, I was couch surfing for 3 months, I was
Mm,
struggling at the gym, I like, nothing was, like, really working out, but I knew that it was gonna work out, of course. I just knew, and I was in the energy of it, and I saw how quickly things could shift and reality could shift, and literally, it seemed literally overnight, even though, of course, there was a little I was resourceful, I had a plan, I took action, and things shifted really quickly. So, like, as time went on and the doubt started coming up, I started to feel like, "Oh my god, am I gonna be able to keep this up? Like, what if I run out of money? You know, what if I lose clients? I need to continue to get clients at that time." And then this feeling of like, I wanna build my online business more than the in-person stuff, and so I was doing everything. And, for me, it felt really debilitating because I gave my power away again to
mm,
fear, and I gave my power away to the doubt. Even though I was doing EMDR therapy and hypnosis and EFT tapping, I was learning the tools, which I teach now, and they have helped me a lot. At that time, I was also going through this transition where I feel like I needed to kind of go through that, I guess, to learn all these lessons. But I gave my power away so much to the fear and the doubt. And, there were some circumstances that happened in my normal life that really just like fucked with my self esteem
mm,
and things like that. That I ended up actually getting a side job again. A few clients moved and whatnot. I started bartending again on the side while I trained my clients about a year and a half later, and I felt like a complete freaking failure
mm,
because I was so annoyed. Like, I left the bar scene, the nightlife stuff. I was on my own, like my own hours, like doing my own thing for so long that even working like 2 nights a week at a bar, it bothered me. I mean, it was the only thing I would do because you have more say, like, when you're in a I don't know if you know, but if you're in a position like that, it's for the places that I worked, it was more of like, "Oh, I'm just coming to make money. I'm like my own boss at behind a bar." But at the same time, it was still like, "This is so not in alignment, bleh." And so I had to work through all of that, and while I was making that transition, um, while I was working at the bar and training clients, I was so determined to shift my mindset and to really, really get clear and connected with my bigger purpose because also was feeling drawn to do something more. So it wasn't just that, oh, I got a job again. It was literally like my soul was pulling me in a new expanded direction. I didn't know what it was. So I kind of got slapped in the face in a way of like, wait a minute, hold up, we got to pause here. And and that's when I just went so in with the mindset stuff and the plant medicine work that I've done, the healing work, and it just gradually led me to my spiritual boss babe thing. And I literally had to build myself back up from square freaking one. I shit you not. Like, I again found myself struggling to get by, only had a handful of clients that, I was about to move across the country, to Austin, Texas, where I am now. I left everything, and I I started from square one again, and
mm.
it was humbling. But I didn't really start from square one because I had the knowledge and the resources and the lessons and the wisdom
And
that
the
I've acquired.
tools.
Exactly, and the
Hmm.
tools, so I was better equipped, and the experience of realizing what happens when you fuel your desires and you get into that state and how quickly things can manifest. But also on the flip side, what can happen if you give your power away to fear and doubt, and how quickly things can shift in that regard. And so I knew while seeing it that, oh my gosh, like I know I'm creating this. I'm aware of that. So I really, really, really want to figure this the fuck out.
Mhm. Yeah. What do you do for energetic self care? Life challenges us. However, we have tools to help us navigate the transitions, release trapped emotions, maintain positive energy, and expand to allow more joy and excitement. Abundant and Aligned Society is an energetic self care accountability program that helps you go from stress and anxiety, fight or flight, to operating from a place of abundance and alignment. Go to niajae.com/society for more information and start vibrating higher. Okay, so I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about spirit guides now. So for someone who doesn't know, because I feel like we all have spirit guides, but
Totally.
for someone who doesn't know who their spirit guides are or haven't connected with them, because I feel like most of the people that listen to this podcast are at the beginning of their journey. They're just getting into meditation, they're just getting into sound therapy and different healing modalities. So they're exploring all of these things, but it's kind of like, am I crazy because I'm hearing this or feeling this or sensing this? So they're just exploring their different clair abilities. So for someone who hasn't explored spirit guides, how would you explain that?
I would just explain spirit guides like they're like your team of they're like your team, like your life team, basically guiding you on your path and supporting you if you ask for their support, and are just there. So they could be anything from, I mean, like one of my spirit guides is my grandmother, my mom's mom. Um, Other ones are light beings or cosmic beings or whatever. It doesn't really matter to know necessarily who exactly they are or what they are or what their names are. Although I was so obsessed with that when I first got into it as a teenager, and there are meditations that you can do to meet your spirit guides, but they're basically just like your life team. They are just guiding you on the path. Only the thing is, you're the one in the physical realm, and they're not. And so they're just like your family guiding you on the path. Feeding you ideas and inspiration and nudges and signs and synchronicities and everything, um, to support your expansion and your growth and your evolution. And you can work with your spirit guides or your angels or whatever, by just being open to it and asking for guidance and support, um, and paying attention. So when I first started getting into it, I started like getting into spirit guides and stuff like that. I started with just meditations. There's plenty of like guided meditations to meet your spirit guides. And I had this one amazing experience when I was a teenager of in this meditation to meet my spirit guide. And it was like this beautiful forest, and I was like sitting in this clearing, and all of a sudden this beautiful, just it was just light. It was like I couldn't see a face or anything. It was like this body of just pure white light, glowing, blinding, just came up to me, and I asked what her name was because I felt it was a she. And she said her name was Celeste. And I remember during that time, like I didn't know like what Celeste meant necessarily. I thought of the pizza, that frozen pizza. It's called the Celeste brand. So I remember I researched what it meant. I think this was even like before freaking, it was so long ago. I feel so old saying this, but I feel like it was like before Google. I don't even know what the search engine was back then. But I searched Celeste, and I found out that it means from the heavens or heavenly. And then so after that, I started asking for signs to know that I wasn't crazy. And that's when I started seeing 1111 everywhere. I saw 1111 everywhere you could think of, not just on the clocks, but on seconds I was on the phone, license plates, house numbers, you name it. Like this 1111 every day, multiple times a day, 111, 1111, to the point where I was like, what the hell? Like, this is weird. Like, there's no way that I didn't know, and there wasn't that much information about 1111 this was like in 2004 or something. And so I remember looking up what 1111 meant, over time because I saw it so much, and it was all this the awakening code, the signs from your guardian angels. Like there was all this spiritual connotation about 1111, how it means you're on the right path, how this, that, and the other. It's like what happens when you become awakened spiritually, because also it's like I believe it's a kind of like a glitch in the matrix. You become so present that like there's certain things that happen synchronistically because there's only ever in this now moment, and one of those things happens to be the number sequences. So that was kind of my initiation of like working with my spirit guides. And over time, I started doing automatic writing and journaling. I write letters to them, and then I'll do automatic writing, and it'll be a letter from them where I'll just let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Um, and they communicate in many different ways. It can be from a thought that you might think the thought is your own thought, but it's really, something that's coming from your spirit team to bring to your conscious awareness. Or maybe you'll hear like lyrics of a song that answer a question, or that just, it's just a synchronistic thing. Or maybe you have a dream and you don't remember all of the dream, but subconsciously you do. And then you have this amazing download the next day, or whatever, what have you. There's so many ways that they can communicate. When I was younger, I would think, oh my God, I want to hear them for real. I want to see them for real. Well, I didn't know if I wanted to see them because I think I might have freaked out at that time, but I want to like really sense them. And I know, I understand that some people do, but I started understanding over time, for me, or in a lot of people as well, it's not actually always about physically hearing. It's like you, like how like you might hear a thought or something in your mind, and that's them. Or you might see something in your imagination, or like a little vision or a little clip of something, or maybe you see something in your meditation, and that's like a picture or something, or even a real thing like how I did, and that's a way. So it's like, not always with your physical senses. Sometimes it's subtle.
Yeah. And I've tried to communicate with my spirit guide to ask them to send me like a sign that they're trying to communicate with me because sometimes I'm stubborn. So one of the symbols is a ladybug. So when I see a
Cool.
ladybug, I know that okay, my spirit guides have a message for me, or sometimes it's just making their appearance known. So
Hmm.
whatever I'm going through, they're just like, I'm here, I got your back kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great pointer. You can even have something like that for those listening. Like you can probably even decide what sign you want to be shown, and have that be like the thing that your spirit guides are looking after you. Like for me, it's 1111. Also, it's a blue owl for me now.
Mm.
In one of my plant medicine journeys a while back, I kept seeing this blue owl, and it was just watching me, and it was just there the whole time. And ever since then, I've been seeing owls everywhere. So owl is one of my things, but specifically, I asked one time to see a blue owl for something, and ever since then, I see these random blue owls pop up in like paintings or pictures or whatever. It's really cool.
I love that. I love how specific it is, a blue
Hmm.
owl. So this is actually something you help people with is tapping into their multidimensional gifts, right?
Hmm.
So what are some ways people can activate their gifts?
Well, the first way is like really stepping into your power and knowing who you are and what you stand for. And, the more that you do that, um, and you tune in to yourself by meditating, or different practices that support you. For different people, it may be different types of things. Um, it'll allows you to connect to yourself in a deeper, more expansive way, to gain that clarity, to gain the certainty needed, and to expand on your gifts. I believe that we're always expanding and evolving too. And so like, you know I knew for a long time that one of my gifts was my art and my creativity, and I started connecting the dots, looking in hindsight on my journey, and seeing the theme of my gifts, and also the way that other people reflect back to me, because other people are mirrors. And so when other people say things that they get from me, my energy being around, whether it's friends or clients, it allows me to actually see my gifts more too. Not that I can't see them myself, but when I can see them from the vantage point of someone else as well, it helps me acknowledge, oh, okay. So over time and in hindsight, I realized that there's a theme of my gifts, and I believe that everyone has this. There's a theme, like an underlying theme to your purpose and your gifts, and you are your purpose. It's not something you need to find. So for me, mine was my art and my creativity, and also helping people remember who they are. And how I choose to do that is whatever I choose to do. So at one point in time, it was makeup. I was using my art and I was also helping people feel confident and like feel beautiful and stuff. And when I did the costume stuff, the bras and corsets, it was also my art, and it was like just like helping, like just it contributed to feeling fucking fabulous and sexy and like so amazing in this amazing, outfit. And with the personal training, I my art actually at that time was my workouts, designing my workouts, and I got really creative. I used to make a lot of videos and helping people with feel good in their bodies. And with Spiritual Boss Babe, same thing, helping people grow their business and manifest their dreams, but it really comes back to remembering who the hell you are. And so I believe that everyone does have a theme within their purpose or their gifts. And as you continue on the journey of discovering remembering who you are, and also creating and choosing who you want to express yourself as, because you're actually the god or goddess of your life. So you're not defined at all. You can be whoever you want to be in any moment, which is really cool. But you do have an energetic, like, signature blueprint. And so I think the more that you grow, expand, and evolve and remember who you are, so does your gifts that have always been there, but now you're just more aware of them, or you've gained the skills, or you started learning more on your journey and you've been acquiring all this new wisdom, and so you step more into your gifts, or you have that heightened intuition come back online, or you find that this tool, like, say, like, I know a couple people who recently got into like human design. They found this tool that encompasses like their genius in other ways that they now teach to other people. It's one example of like another way of doing it. But so yeah, I think the more that you remember who you are and continue the journey and trust yourself, your gifts just continue to expand and strengthen and evolve. It's been my experience.
Yeah. Do you find that surrounding yourself in a community that is comfortable with talking about these type of topics helps?
Oh, for sure. Like, I don't know if I would even be able to not talk about this stuff. Like, for me, the thought of being around, it's funny. At this point, for me, the thought of being around people who don't get it, it doesn't even like compute in my mind, because everyone around me, I have a huge soul family here in Austin. Everyone in my realm, they get it. To whatever, maybe like I have a different perspective on certain things, or for the whatever, but for the most part, they're all very like spiritually open minded, into growth and all the things. So I think that has a huge part of it. And I didn't always have that, especially like when I was making the transition in New York, when I was phasing from the personal training to, I did not have people around me. That's why I created it in Spiritual Boss Babe in the community. And then I just started attracting and meeting people in the online space and in real life, that I have really close friends that I met online that are in this realm. So for if people are, if any of you are listening to this and you're like, I want that, I don't have a lot of that, there's so much of that online right now. But also, even if you just open yourself up to it and have the intention to cultivate that, whether it's online at first, it's going to happen in your normal life as well. It's just being open to it and getting clear about the type of people you want to call into your experience. I think it's so important.
Yes, I
Yeah,
totally agree. Totally agree. Have you heard the term spiritual narcissism?
I have heard of it. Yes.
What are your thoughts on that? I know it's a random question, but I'm just curious.
So is that basically like a spiritual, like, so is that basically like people who think that they're so spiritual, they're like better than other people kind of thing.
Pretty much. Or they
Yeah.
look down on people
On
who
people
are
who aren't.
not
Yeah.
evolved or,
Mm,
you know.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I think that it's kind of like doesn't make any sense if you're looking down on people who everyone's on their own journey.
Mhm.
Everyone's literally on their own journey, in and learning their own experiences and having their own experience, period. And so, like yes, there are people that maybe who've been on the journey longer in one aspect, like say maybe people who just first come across your podcast and they're just first learning. Just because you might know a little bit more than them in certain aspects, it doesn't there's no hierarchy. So I think that that's just another sneaky way that the ego can get in the way of,
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean, of this I'm better than you kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that it can be very sneaky, and sometimes people don't even realize when it's happening, you know? Um, I've learned this actually, even with a past relationship where I wanted to help them so badly. I saw like what their trauma and all this stuff. And then I drained myself so much trying to help this person who pretended like they wanted help but they didn't. And then I also found myself actually looking down in ways like of, well, and then I realized, well, that's not really any better. So what can I do? Focus on myself and like being love and compassionate and having boundaries, knowing when to walk away, and whoever vibes with things that I teach or wants to grow in a way that I can support them and they're showing up, that's cool. If not, that's cool. Everyone's on their own journey.
Yes, I love it. I love it. It perfectly stated. So, what are your top 3 tips for living an abundant life?
I love this question. My top 3 tips for living an abundant life. The first one would be to have more fun. My favorite mantra is the more fun I have, the more money I make, or the more fun I have, the more abundance I attract in all ways. So have more fun, whatever that looks like for you. For me, it's dancing, singing, hanging out with friends, like just enjoying my life and making that a priority. Um, the second thing would be to focus on gratitude, and I know it sounds cheesy because like so many people say it, maybe that it sounds like redundant, but I'm talking more about not more than just making a gratitude list, but like really taking the time to bring yourself to the present moment and think, wow, like for us, wow, it's a Tuesday afternoon. It's so amazing outside. The weather is beautiful. I'm sitting here talking to you on this podcast. Like we're sitting here doing our life work, like sharing our message. Like that's so awesome. I'm so grateful. Like really like bringing yourself to the moment and feeling that gratitude on a cellular level and an emotional level is a really powerful way to continue to live an abundant life because you remember, oh, wow, because you're bringing your focus to abundance and to gratitude. It's like the highest vibrational frequencies. So that would be number two. And number three, do what you love. Do what you love. Like whatever you're passionate about, do it. Like that's it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So, where can people find you online?
Yeah, so people can find me. I'm on Instagram most of the time now. It's at the Spiritual Boss Babe, and then I also have my Facebook group, Spiritual Boss Babes, on Facebook. So either one of those or my podcast, whatever, like wherever you want to find me, you can find me. Um, but Instagram's my fave place to jam out now.
Awesome. Well, if
Yeah.
you are tuning into this episode, definitely screenshot it and let us know where you're tuning in from. And Tag us. I'll have her links in the show notes so you can join the Facebook group and follow her on Instagram. I love everything that you're doing. I'm in the Facebook group. I've been in it for some time now.
Wow.
So I love that we connected when we did so we can do this episode. I know that the audience is going to love this and it's going to inspire a lot of women, and I feel like the quote that I've been using the most is we rise by lifting each other up.
Mhm.
So just echoing that, like, you have to find your power, you have to step away from those toxic situations and surround yourself with people that truly embrace you in your power. That's a game changer.
Mhm. Amen to that.
Well, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure. And yeah, I will keep following you. And I hope that we can connect and keep sharing our light with the world.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was so awesome.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, M&Ms, until next time, be decadent. Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.